a little bit late. And I was late also, so I was preoccupied, and I could give you guys 100 excuses. Basically, we came in and got started, and he was downstairs and locked out. I don't know how persistent he was to try to get in. He messaged me one time, and that's all I saw. But I haven't heard back from him, and wherever he lives, he came down here, was locked out, and bailed. So I just don't want that to...
I just heard from him today that he's not coming today.
He what?
Yeah, he can't make it today.
I read the group chat, and it says here, Terrell says, I won't be able to make it today. Hopefully the next one.
Well, that's great. Okay, so he's not just fully bent out of shape. Okay, great. I'm glad to hear that. When you don't hear back from someone and you make an apology, sometimes it's like, well, that's a bridge that's not going to be mended. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll bring the chairs back and we'll circle up, and it's just the four of us. And I'm going to do a speed run through here. Let me grab my phone so I can tell what time it is. Now let's bring these chairs back here to where these, this is where those of us that are not performing are sitting. Okay. Stay in a line here, yeah. Gives us some semblance of an actual audience.
There's
right?
5 of us.
Okay.
Do you have one more chair?
Oh yeah, we got 100 chairs. Just give you an idea, and how many more chairs? Yeah, right here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So we're going to circle up, and we're going to go around. So, so you wear black shirt. Thank you. Next time, just fully black if we could. All right, and that's Theater Blacks. You know, I don't know how familiar you are with that prior to working with us.
Just once before.
Just once before.
Yeah,
okay.
we came here. That was my first day, and I saw him there.
Okay, great, great. Wonderful. And Tony, thank you very much for stepping out and picking up Christian.
Sure.
Really, really helpful. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to try to do a speed run through my, top of the session housekeeping. I guess this was what it would be. So, and I've covered all this. All of us have done this at least one time here. And so I won't, I'll try to just do a speed run, but just because I'm going fast doesn't mean it's not important, okay? So we have stage desire, that's Theater Blacks. The idea is the quality of your contribution stands out over loud, colorful, or flashy clothing, okay? So there's that. Working in close proximity to each other as human beings, we have the capacity to have bad breath. Flossing is the #1 secret. A lot of people with bad breath just don't know we'll solve their problem. So when we're going to be working together, try to make sure that you have flossed your teeth. Okay? Introductions, icebreakers. So our names, our interests, our performance experience, and the question, why improv? So we're going to go ahead and go around the room. And I'm Daryl Phillips. My interests involve cutting cedar in the Texas hill country. And my performance experience, I've just got done with a few plays at the Overtime Theater. I've done a little bit of extra work on major motion pictures. I've studied since 2016. I started doing improv. And I absolutely fell in love with it. I started attending open mic nights for stand-up comedy, and I was attending. I wasn't performing. I was sitting and watching, and I had just turned 40, and when you turn 40, you're like, wow, my life seems to be 40 years. How did that happen? And here I am. It's like, okay, well, all the things that I ever wanted to do, why haven't I done them? When am I going to get started doing those? And that's when I started breaking into the stand-up, and then I found the improv, and I absolutely fell in love with the improv. And it comes to find out some of the best writing that, for storytelling, any kind of shows, media that we see, happens because of an improvisational creation process. So here, the better you get at this, the higher the quality of the product. And that's it's a perfect opportunity not just to have fun and entertain a live audience, but to take that information, to take that content develop it into sketch, and then go to animation and whatnot. And that's something, you know, going a little in depth here, but I mentioned in the group chat very recently that, because we're going to be starting to do shows after the first of the year. And so who ends up on stage representing our group needs to be able to be heard. Okay? And that's something I'm about to cover is stage presence. We always cover stage presence. We need to be able to be heard. So, you know, if you think you're loud, be a little louder. All right? That's always the person at the back of that room, okay, if we're standing right here, needs to be able to hear. I mention this every time. We never fail. You know, you get in your head and then your focus isn't on your projection and your volume. All right? So, and that's where repetition and practice allows us to exercise those mental muscles to deliver a good scene and deliver a good partner experience with your scene partner. But then, you know, you're also, okay, I need to be a little louder, or I was a little less loud, or I have my back to the audience a little too long, or whatever, you know, and those things will begin to be second nature, you know. But in the beginning, we have to be reminded, and that's okay, you know, and as long as we're able to take direction, that's the important, you know. It's like nothing personal, you know, it's like, well, let's all grow, we're here to grow together. Anyway, and why Improv. I just geeked out on it pretty hard, so that's enough. Introduction.
Well, I'm Melissa. I'm working on a book, and I'm a dancer and an actor, mostly musical theater. I performed in several shows, and I've done Alamo City Improv with Darryl a while back, and we performed a little bit the class, end of the class performances, but yeah.
And so why Improv? Did you just answer that, or?
Oh no, I started Improv because I thought it would be a great place to start performance theater, and I just liked it, and I kept doing it.
Wonderful. Okay, puts a smile on your face. That's what's important. Tony.
Hello, I'm Tony Aguilera. I am here from San Antonio. I got into acting and modeling back in March of this year, and in the process of that, I've learned from acting coaches, spoke with different acting coaches that had a background in improv. So I thought it sounded interesting. Of course, I was encouraged to put that, you know, to develop those skills if I could. And so then I came across Darryl, and so here I am. But other than that, I'm a model with NB Model Management based out of Beverly Hills now. And so I've been doing commercial auditions and submitting myself up for that and various other things now. So I'm staying busy with quite a few different ways now. And anything I can learn here and develop here is just be something to add to my skills. I don't know if there's anything
I think you did it.
All right.
Good.
Cool.
And John.
Everyone, I'm John Martin.
And again, thank you for volunteering to take phone calls. We never want anybody to get locked out again.
Right.
I'm so embarrassed.
Stuff happens. And that's kind of part of improv. Stuff happens.
That's just it. You can't let that kind of thing, you know, float around.
Happens. But I'm John Martin Fitzhugh. I'm the owner of the Actors Hall, which is specializing right now in short films. And I'm also a writer, producer, director, and actor. I started in improv back in 2009, short form improv. And I continue on with improv because it's the best way to keep your acting skills and talents right up at the level they need to be, because you're right there in the scene doing it, keeping you present, and helping you think about your craft and improvement.
And so you started in 2009, you said?
Yes.
And can you talk a little bit about, because it was with Comedy Sports, no?
Right, I was with Comedy Sports San Antonio. Comedy Sports itself is a franchise organization, so they're in several cities in the U.S. and even a few overseas, I believe, in Europe. They concentrate on the short form improv, so it's more of the game content and short scenes, 3 to 5 minutes long. I started out with them, they had kind of a training program as well, and then each week we did training as well as preparing for the shows. They do it in a sports format, so 2 teams, a person who's the referee, we've got someone in the booth, and you're vying for points, which are, you come by however the audience applauds or wants to give points to. And because it's short form, you're really not getting a chance to develop a scene or a complete show like we're doing here, where we're getting 20, 25 minutes to a running narrative. So that's why I like the long form. It will help keep you in it, but keep you still doing a lot of different characters, all in the same production.
Let me ask you a quick question. So you've been doing, you've been to almost everything that I've done here. Can you give us some similarities? What are some of the aspects that you've found that it's like, yep, in short form, that's necessary as well?
The things that are the same are that you still have to come up with your character. You still have to be present, which is the biggest thing. And you have to listen to what your fellow teammates are saying. Those are the keys to me of improv. Of course, not denying what's actually happening in the scene, because that's been part of the realism. So those are the things that are the same. Some things that are slightly different are just simply the pace, because you don't have the chance for exposition in your scene. So in short form, it's basically, this is happening, this is what's done, there's been some type of incident, we have to wrap it up. But here in the long form format, when we can take our time a little bit and still remember who our characters are, it's another thing that's the same in short form. You have to know who your characters are. Your relationship that you have to build is still the same. You have to know, okay, this is either my boss, or this is my brother, or we've known each other for a while. So those things are also the same in short form as well.
Wonderful. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Thank you very much, John. To Kevin.
My name is Kevin Molina. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I've been acting and doing talent shows and whatnot since elementary school. However, it wasn't until middle school that I started taking acting more seriously.
Can you raise your voice just a little bit?
Yeah, I'm typically used to being louder than usual. I've done 3 consecutive seasons at the 13th Floor Haunted House San Antonio. I've done 2 consecutive seasons at 16 Flags Fright Fest. I've done a holiday season at SeaWorld. Class of 2016 from St. Philip's College, Associates in Acting. I've done 4 out of 6 shows over there during my time there. Right now I'm playing basketball at the University of the Incarnate Word for their club / what I like to call the junior varsity program. So I've been mostly on sabbatical from acting until the holiday break, which other than the Dinner Detective acting company, I haven't done any shows, any acting related activities outside of the classes over there since.
So you just touched on Dinner Detective. Can you describe that a little bit, please?
It is a dinner theater that simulates at a realistic time frame, I should say, or time rate, what the board game Clue would be like. You are the pawns, and instead of having 4 pawns, you have over 100 pawns trying to figure out who died where, who killed them, while you have detectives out there helping figure out the clues. And the reason why I'm here for improv is so that I can get the detective spot after so many years of playing other roles.
Right, you've got some support roles, and then you've got a lead detective and a support detective. And those are the coveted roles, those detective roles. Without them, the show doesn't have.
Yeah, and I'm here to get that top spot.
Sweet. All right. Much luck. And that's why you're here. Great. Okay, so I will run through this as quickly as I can. Improvisational theater comedy resides upon a branch beneath the overarching tree that is the performing arts. We are delivering a performance to an audience who need to hear and see our content, both audibly and visually. So, right here, if you remember nothing else, we must always be mindful and in consideration of our stage presence. That's our voice. I'd ask you to raise your voice a little bit. If you were speaking, but you were faced that wall, that also wouldn't make any sense, but it happens in improv because we have an imaginary thing, everything is imaginary. And where we place our imaginary environment is up to us. So any interactions we do with our make-believe environment need to be between us and the audience. So we're interacting, and the audience is right there versus it's on the back wall. It's just it's very common. It's a rookie mistake to do that up against the back wall. And sometimes, you know, you're in this kitchen and here's the sink, and yes, there is a cupboard up here you grab, but you're not spending a lot of time reorganizing the cupboards. Okay? Our voices need to easily be heard from the last row of seats, as I mentioned, in the audience. The term, remember this, play to the back of the room. And also, how do you accomplish this? It is from the diaphragm. How you breathe and how you, when you project, it is an outward action, right? We're not inhaling projection, right? So keep that in mind as you are uttering your dialogue. It is all in an exhalation, not an inhalation. Okay? So as you consider that, and you can and so like flex your abdomen muscles, and you can, and as you do that, and you constrict your larynx, your esophagus, whatever your vocal cords, that area, you constrict it, and you've got the same amount of air. By pushing with the diaphragm, you can enable what a higher volume, all right, and a more rich, full sound. How does that happen? I'm not 100%, but okay. So that was me pushing harder. It's kind of like Lamaze. If I had a pen, I would write that. Somebody remind me of Lamaze when it comes to breathing. I think that will be a fun way to you know, go from I don't, you know, project well to I do, because of Lamaze. All right. So as I just made that right, we're going to do that real quick. So the professionals do this. When you do it, put your hand on your stomach. Okay, put your hand on your stomach. Breathe in through the nose. Okay. Out through the mouth. Okay. Pay attention to how your abdomen feels when you do this. Okay. And pay attention, you know, to your body. I think doing this just allows you to better develop your body consciousness. Okay. So, okay. So I push a little harder, and when in that middle, all right, you hear the vocal volume get more rich and full and loud, right? And it's because I'm flexing. Now, right now, it seems like I'm kind of going on and on, but this is an art people don't do very often. Okay? So, Kevin, you're strong on this, I can tell. So we're going to go ahead and start with you. We'll go all the way around. What we're going to do, okay? So open your mouth as loud as you can, as wide as you can. Do it again. Very good. Very good. So it sounds like to me your vocal cords are doing one of these. Try not to do that. Try to just that same tone, more body. Don't feel afraid to scream. Fuck yes. Okay. Don't do any kind of manipulation with your vocal cords. Nothing. Okay, you're still doing that. You're with your vocal cords. Do that. Yes. Very good. Very good. A little stronger. Okay, we got to work on it, right? So there's a difference. Can you hear the difference between what I'm doing and what you're doing? Try it. Very good. So that's going to be your homework, right? So we're going to do that real quick, all the way around.
Huh.
Little harder. Little more body. Yes. Harder. Maybe you need a physicality. Do one of these. All right, perfect. Great. Okay, so you just witnessed me figuring out how to teach projection. It's great. Visually, we want our face and our front of our body to always be shown, presented to the audience. Stay turned out, as I mentioned, 45-degree angle, so Kevin and I are at a 45-degree angle to each other and our proscenium audience that are out here. Okay? So yes, we're moving around everything, but our home position, all right? Once we finish interacting with our environment and whatever, you know, open the door for the next person to come into the scene, whatever, when we find ourselves back engaged in that static standing position, the idea is whether be it sitting down, standing up, kneeling, whatever, always want to try to achieve that 45-degree angle between your scene partner and the audience. Okay? The audience paid to come see our faces, maybe our asses. That's a different venue. Agenda of the exercise. So my 3 lessons. Okay, you don't have to describe them, but can you name them? It's okay. It's fresh.
Are you describing the W's or your S's?
That's the second of the 3. Just the title of it.
I cannot think of the title.
That's fine.
I know it, but I don't.
You don't know the title. Okay. Great. Okay. So the 3 are Yand, Y ampersand. Okay. 3S. Okay. And Yucks.
Oh yeah.
All right. Great. Okay. So you remember the Yucks? What's the Yucks?
I don't remember what the yucks are, but I don't remember you.
Summarize it to the best of your ability.
You discussed it in my first class here, but
Okay.
I can't remember anything other.
If you don't remember, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and run through them real quick. Yand. Yes, and in improv, yes, and is very, very, it's the only thing that's important in the beginning. Agreeing to shoot scene partner and adding a little bit more information. But for me, I want to see more than that. I want to see positivity. I want to see optimism. I want to work together. I don't want to see us taking exception with our environment, the activity that we're involved with, our scene partner, you know, stuff that's not necessarily here. And we can start to inject that into our scene work later, but for right now, optimism, friendliness, cooperation, and things like that, that's going to get us a lot further down the road. And once we're good at that, and once we're like, yeah, I'm going to throw a little something new, I'm going to put a spin on it this time, and that's, you know, you take a little bit of an exception, you know. But if every scene ends up being, I don't like this, and your character is just another version of you having problems with another thing, I don't want to see it. I never want to see that. There's not one time I ever want to see it. And sometimes, some of the places, I won't name them, that's all you see. So I don't go. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, so superheroes. Everybody remember superheroes?
Yeah.
I asked we were going to go through the 3 lessons. So Yand, 3S. What is 3S? Do you know?
I can't remember.
There's a sentence.
Someone, somewhere.
What's the full sentence?
What is a sentence?
I am.
I am someone doing something.
I am. It's just simple.
3 sentences.
Thank you.
I am somewhere. I am
Thank you.
somewhere. I am doing
Appreciate it.
something.
I am someone. I am somewhere, and I'm doing something. Okay. So when the I am someone, well, I'm someone to me, but I'm not doing a scene by myself. I have a relationship with my scene partner. A lot of instances you've got people that are doing improv and well, hi, I would like to buy this object, and it's $7, and here's my money, and thank you very much. The scene is over. that is known as a transactional scene. Okay, we didn't know each other. If we were to actually have a scene where now you're a store clerk, I'm a customer, how often in regular life do you get down to a meaningful relationship with the person that just sold you the thing that you needed? Never. Ever. Very rare if it ever happens. Okay? So, and that, what we're trying to do is present something that's thought-provoking. All right? I bought. That's real simple stuff. I don't have to wrap my mind around it. So, when you're in the scene and you're talking about making a sandwich, you're both standing there. Ask yourself, have I ever interacted with somebody in my kitchen where we're talking about how do we make this sandwich the best way we possibly can? Never! We never do that. So you're doing that, and that's the thing. But we're just talking about regular stuff. We're just normal people. Okay? And that's, and there's a lot of shorthand techniques when you're within the scene where you start to feel like things aren't going as well as they possibly could be. And sometimes it's dread. Okay, so that's the two ends of the spectrum. Things could be going a little better, and full dread. All right, because you feel like things aren't going well at all. Okay, well, if you find yourself anywhere within there are a handful of secrets and tips and tricks and techniques that all you have to do is grab from one of those, any one of those. Act on that method, that technique, and you're out of that. You're out of that place that you were in. It's an interesting thing about mental physics. All right, we can feel like a moment lasts a lifetime. We can feel like 3-hour session went by in a heartbeat. Okay, and very often when we're experiencing dread on stage in an improv scene, it feels like it's going on forever. The minute you employ one of those techniques, that's over. That eternity is over, and now it's on your scene partner again. You might be a little shook up from having felt that way, but all you have to do is just pay attention to your scene partner. Listening is one of the most important things, and just getting yourself out of that stuck place. So superheroes, your name, an adjective with the same letter as your name, a physicality of some kind. Okay, and we're going to go around, and then the second time around, at the end of each one of us, all of us will do that same superhero move. But the second go around, we're all going to try to do it simultaneously with the person that generated it originally. Okay?
So name, quality that goes with the first letter of the name, and then physicality.
Dynamic Darrow. Dynamic Darrow. Okay. All right, so now everybody tries that. Dynamic Darrow. Very good. Let's do it again. All of us. Yeah. Physical and vocal. Dynamic Darrow. Very good. Very good. Be ready. Ready and at the willing. And at the ready.
Another question. For this superhero exercise, we can use an existing hero, right? Like Batman.
No, this is not anything. You don't have to get creative. Okay? We're not trying to get creative right now. I mean, yeah, we are. But this is a you thing. This is no established, this is all a we thing.
Because I already have something in my mind that's not related to my name.
Okay, well, check this out. This is a really good point. Good learning moment. You already got something in mind. It is preloaded in your mind. In improv, preloading is your enemy. Blank slate. There's a term, I believe it's Latin, called tabula rasa. It means blank slate. You need to be a blank slate all the time. You need to be listening all the time. Because I don't care what the next thing you do. If it's from 5 minutes ago, there's a lot of stuff that happened 5 minutes ago until now that make that thing irrelevant. If you're preloaded off 5 minutes ago, it's no longer relevant. So you're always ready to adapt. We are chameleons. Okay. So, I am Daryl.
Mystical Melissa.
Mystical Melissa. Okay, let's all try it again. Watch very closely. There's a lot of value and attention to detail. Do it one more time. Watch it very closely.
Mystical Melissa.
Mystical Melissa. Do your best. Don't shrug this off. Do your best like this match, like there's an award on the line. Anytime we're working together, pour everything into it. What you take away from this is everything you put into it. Okay? We all suited up and showed up. Not to show up here and do a half-assed job.
Yeah.
Okay. One more time.
Mystical Melissa.
Mystical Melissa.
Very good.
Terrible Tony.
Terrible Tony.
Jousting John!
Young. So let's pay attention to detail. He did 1, 2, almost like Gangnam style, and then said it. So let's not rush. We're in long form. We never short form. We don't have to rush. So it was a couple gallop. 1.
Jousting John!
Okay. Stop it. Okay. And this makes me think of object work. Sitting on stage. I'm going to get a couple of chairs for our sets. But I'm eating from a plate with a knife and a fork. That's the beginning of my new rap song. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm sitting here, and I'm eating, right? Cookie Monster style verses, very slow, very detailed. I'm seeing these things, okay? And pull it out, over the top. Okay? Are you eating super fast at the restaurant? Probably not. Take your time. Pay attention. Detail. Timing. Everything. And this is so many different tracks of our mind, mental tracks that are operating simultaneously. In order to do this, with experience, it becomes a lot less difficult. Less difficult. It's still difficult. And our brains level up to where we can do it at the drop of a hat. Just imagine where those mental skills are applicable in the real world. So we'll be stealing stuff from banks. That's my ulterior motive here. No, just kidding.
Won't be in the back.
I mean, banks, they really don't have the money. Casinos. Go ahead. John, Jousting John.
Knowledgeable Kevin.
Knowledgeable Kevin.
Okay. All at the same time? Dynamic Carol.
Dynamic Carol. Mystical Melissa.
Terrible Tony.
Jousting John.
Jousting John!
Okay, so Kevin, you're rushing it a little bit. Let's get a couple of, okay? One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Jousting John!
Very good, very good. I like that. That was pretty good.
Knowledgeable Kevin.
Okay, very good. So we got a couple of good lessons in there. Listening, taking your time, right? Zip, zap, zup. We all remember zip, zap, zup. Now, your gloves. Is that fashion for hygiene? I don't. So part of zip, zap, zup is making that audible clap. Okay.
Yeah, it's for costume design.
I mean, if you wear them the whole time, but anytime it comes to like an exercise that we're actually trying to clap and make noise, you have a silencer on your clapper. Okay, and so zip zap zap. We're gonna go ahead and go around the room, and our different improv games exercise different parts of our brain. Okay, zip zap zap. Exercise, we've all played it. What is zip zap zup exercise?
The zip zap zop exercise is where you have to start off with a zip, but the catch is you cannot zip with someone next to you. You have to zip with someone across from you. So in this case, Terrible Tony or Tony, if I say zip to you, you have to say zap to him, and then it finishes off with John being told zop, and then he starts it again, saying zip to the dancer.
Sure, and that's how it works. That's how it works. But what does it work? What parts of the brain, what parts of our skill set does this exercise?
Reaction time.
Okay, reaction time, good. What else?
Listening.
Very good. What else? And now listening. Listening how?
Listening for your cue, and also it improves on your vision to see who's talking to you and what they're saying.
Okay, you just said it. Listening with your eyes, your vision. Okay? So usually when we hear the word listen, we think of our ears, eyes. You're listening. Okay.
It's an overall chemistry exercise, team chemistry exercise.
Okay, well, we can go into that. What I'm getting at is it's equal time is the thing we hadn't got to. So I'm not zapping you or you, right? So it's just the two of you. So I need to be, I don't want to go to you every time, John. I need to come to Tony from time to time. When we get a little bit bigger group, you end up with a little bit more diversity, all right? And here's the thing, remember this. If you haven't interacted with somebody lately, do it, okay? If when you're about to interact, try to remember to ask yourself, have I interacted with this person lately? Because if you have, pick someone else. Pick someone else. We want to see a diversity of character interaction on stage. And if you're, hooking up with the same person all the time, sure, you build your rapport and all this good stuff. But we want that same level of rapport amongst all of us. All right? And it just doesn't happen. Sometimes instinctually, we just keep going to the same person. Why? I don't know. So that's why so much of what I'm teaching you guys is how do you master your brain? The thing that actually your brain naturally wants to do. Okay, we got to establish what is that, and then ask yourself, what is a shorthand trick to solve this? Like, I don't run into that problem anymore because I go to this, and boom, I'm beyond that, and I'm doing other things. All right. All right. So, zap. Distribution of interaction. Right. So let's do zap. Sit. Okay, and the claps. Go ahead and take. It's like your fingers. However you can, make the loudest clap you can. Right. Single clap. All right. Some people, when you're in an audience, you're like, how are you making that much noise? Jesus, stop already. That's how I would love to hear you guys do your clap. Okay? So, it is a physicality. I'm going directly to you. Boom! All right? And so, I'm making the sound and I'm directing. All at the same time. The best of your ability, make the loudest clap, very direct. Make eye contact with who you're working with. That's also very important, eye contact. And here's something interesting I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about. What is the meaning of peripheral eye contact? Is it a thing? Have any of you ever considered such a thing?
I have.
Okay, well, let's hear about it.
As a basketball player, you need to see everything in the court around you, and that also applies to theater. You can't just be looking at the guy in front of you. You got to be looking behind it. You got to be looking to the left of him and the right of him to be ready for anything.
Nice. Now, but that's eye contact, and you're aware, all right?
So, for example, if I'm looking at you, I'm looking at the little trees behind you as well. That's peripheral contact, as an example.
Okay. And I think that everybody involved, if you know that I'm watching you out of my peripheral, and you know that I'm watching you. Okay? And everybody involved knows that's the case. I'd call that eye contact, peripheral eye contact. But it's only because we know we're paying attention to that. In regular life, that's not a thing, unless you're playing basketball. And how lucky are we that Kevin's here to give us that real world, where is this actually applicable? As a team sport. This is a team sport. This is referred to as a team sport. Okay, so zip, zap, zap, and here we go. Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
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 Zip. Okay. Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap. Zip. Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
Zap.
Zap.
Okay. So did you find any point in there you're like, I'm going to go to you, but I went to you last time. That's what I found. For me, it's like I was going to go to you like, for a second time. I'm like, all right, let me stop and go to someone else. Whoosh Bang Pow, next game. Whoosh Bang Pow, exercise game, same thing. Okay, so there is an online resource called the Improv Encyclopedia. It's probably improvencyclopedia.com. I'm not sure. There are a lot of improv games. All right, these are short form games. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everyone in our our work group to have a look. Find any of the games that it's like, hey, you know what? That game would be perfect working on this one element that is so important to, bringing us along from, I don't know, to, wow, professional improv. And I'll do that later. But whoosh, bang, pow. So you whoosh, 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 whoosh. Bang is the skull and crossbones. It stops. You say bang. That just happens. So zip, zap, zup. We went ahead and we're going side by side only because we had a smaller group. Usually you don't go to the sides. Whoosh, bang, pow. Some similar rules, I guess, if you consider it a game. But anyway, I'll just go ahead and we'll move on. We're just going to whoosh. 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 Right? We're going to do it again. We're going to add pow, and that's going to reverse. So whoosh. 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 We haven't done pow yet. So whoosh, bang, pow, and then ramp. So we're just adding each element individually.
What's insane? Are we doing bang right now, or are we doing pow?
We're just working.
Whoosh, bang. We just did a couple of rounds of whoosh.
Now we're doing bang.
Now we're adding.
Okay. I thought you said
It always whoosh.
No, I just thought you said pow. That's why.
No, that's cool. And okay, here's the question: why are we doing this? And the answer is exactly the same answer for zip, zap, zup. Okay, reaction time. What was the other one? Any of the other aspects?
Listening.
Huh?
Listening.
Listening, very good. Eyes and ears. Yeah. Equal time. So that was the thing that I mentioned at the very end of all this talking about zip, zap, zup. Same thing here, equal time. Whoosh, bang, pow. Now this is the choices that I make. If I just whoosh the whole game, or the whole exercise, I didn't work very hard, I didn't do anything out of the ordinary, nothing was very interesting, nothing was novel, but I participated. Is that good enough? Sure. But good enough, great. Good enough is the enemy of the great. Have we heard this before? Anywhere?
Complacency.
Complacency. Well, I'm just talking about an established idiom. The enemy of the great is the good enough. I'm paraphrasing. We can be good enough. We can do a passable job. But we want to do a stellar job. So after every performance, we want to think, okay, well, how, I don't want to get down on myself, but what did I do? What were the choices that I made? And how could I have done any better? So I think we're getting to 4 o'clock. An hour and a half worth of scene work is what I'm seeing us at, which is, I believe, the most amount of scene work that we will have done up until this point. And so it's just the 4 of you. I'm going to be sitting out and watching and calling. And really, today during our scene work, yes, the content of the scenes is important. It's relevant. How important is it? It's not important. It is relevant to being able to coherently do a series of scenes. But what our focus, our emphasis should be in our mind is equal distribution of editing. Okay, where I'm talking about whoosh, bang, pow, and I'm saying what's important is equal distribution of all the different components. Whoosh, bang, pow, ramp. There's 4 different elements. So you can whoosh, whoosh, whoosh the whole time, or you can go ahead and select, I'm going to do whoosh, bang, pow. I'm going to do a whoosh. When it comes to me again, I'm going to do a bang. When it comes to me again, I'm going to do a pow. Okay? Now that's preloaded, isn't it? What you want to do is watch for what has been taking place. What is the most high frequency of the 4 moves? don't pick that one. Make sense? Go against the grain. We want something new. As human beings, novelty entices us. And we want to entice the audience. Something new. So, that is all of our responsibility is equal distribution. And that's where, at the top of our exercises, zip, zap, zup, focusing on equal distribution. Whoosh, bang, pow, equal distribution. This should all, and when you're trying to just simply interact in a scene, it's all I can do just to do a good job with this element. And just to do a good job, but then thinking about, okay, I could be doing this, I could be doing this, I could be doing this, I could be doing this. And it's only going to come with experience and repetition. Okay? And developing rapport and chemistry with our scene partners. So all I have to do is look. It's like, oh my God, here we are. It's like a best friend, or all you have to do is look at them from across the room. And that's the kind of chemistry we're going to develop. So whoosh, bang, pow, bang, whoosh.
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 Whoosh, whoosh. Okay, so you don't go back the other same way. If you want to send it back, bang.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, just bang.
Bang.
Good. Whoosh.
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 Bang.
Very good. Whoosh.
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 Bang!
Whoosh.
Bang.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Bang.
Whoosh.
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 So we're getting into a perfect example of what I was describing. You've done 3 bangs in a row.
You just practice it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But just just to get an idea, because we won't do whoosh, bang, pow for very long at the beginning of all of our sessions. Zip, zap, zup, we're not going to be doing it for very long. So just, it's like, get as much distribution as you can in those moments, just for a little bit of practice before we get into scene work. But whoosh, bang, pow. Pow? Huh?
We haven't got bang, pow yet.
Right. Pow is the same physicality as zip, zap, zup. Let's all get a clap. Okay? Seems like I made a louder clap that way than this way. I do. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe we all need to come up with our own thing. But the loudest, yeah. Okay. So pow is the same thing. It is across and it's not to the side. We only have 5 people, so maybe we need to make an exception for that too. Just because we need more. So if it's just be the 3 of us playing, just be the 2 of you playing. So we'll open that up. So whoosh, bang, pow. Whoosh.
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 Bang!
Whoosh.
Pow.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
So here's something interesting that has never really gotten a lot of discussion is that when at the pow, you're the decider which direction it goes. Is that a big deal? Well, it's another choice.
Yeah, because I was thinking about whooshing that way, but
There you go. Yeah, I saw that moment of,
Yeah.
but you made your choice, right? And it didn't take very long. But that's an interesting element. The more choices that we have means something. What does it mean? The more choices that we have. What does it mean during a scene?
The more choices we have, I've heard it before, but I don't think it's ever been discussed. But from where I stand, it's basically a list of options you can do as a character to make sure that your character stays busy throughout the scene and doesn't.
Okay, well I understand what having multiple choices means, but what does that mean in the bigger picture? When I have more choices, you have more choices, and we're working together. What does that mean?
It means that you can successfully create a scene almost however you want, as long as it's within the
Your options are just, you got a lot more options. Okay? And a lot of these little standby tricks that I'm talking about, when you can access that, and everything helps when you can abbreviate it. So whatever works for you, these different little tricks, you abbreviate it, and to be able to just hit them in what is it called? Whenever it's a word, but each of the letters, you put a little.
acronym.
Well, so an acronym is all
Or
the letters of the longer.
Mnemonic?
A mnemonic device or an acronym.
Something like that. Like I can't think of any, but there's
Like PEMDAS.
yeah. PEMDAS. That's perfect. Please excuse my dear
Dear
Aunt
Aunt
Sally.
Sally.
Right, and that is parentheses. That's the order of operations.
Exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction.
Right. So that's multiplication, order of operations, okay? So our tips and our tricks for not just getting ourselves out of a pinch, I mean, that right there, we don't want to find ourselves in a pinch too often, all right? And the more readily accessible all these tips and techniques are, all right, we got to know what they are, and then not just what they are, but we got to be super familiar to where we can, at any given point, it's like, all right, this scene needs a little, it's like we're chefs. And we all get to this point in this scene where it's like, man, this feels like it needs something more. It just, I don't know what, I don't really want to think about, but it feels like to a degree we're floundering within this scene. And so if you can access all these different tricks and tricks, having just one is enough to get you out of a bind. But having all those options that we're talking about is going to lend to so much diversity in scene work, right? We got equal distribution, so I've got different people together all the time, and then we've got all these different options, and we'll say we've got a dozen options, right? That's a lot of options. And you employ one, you employ a different one, and all of us with the experience that we have, when you make one of them options, you're like, I see what you did there. You just plucked PEMDAS, the D from PEMDAS. You did a D from the PEMDAS. I just saw that. And it's very ethereal, very subjective. But as we're able to do that, we're like, all right, well, I'm not going to employ that same technique. I'm going to, you know, whenever I'm going to employ something else. And it's mastery is what we're going to develop. So anyway, I'm going to quit BS and we're going to get to our scene work again. 4:30 to 6 o'clock is going to give us an hour and a half worth of scene work. Okay? Whoosh bang pow ramp. So we did pow. We're going to do whoosh bang pow ramp. Everybody remember ramp? Remember ramp? Okay, so this whoosh bang pow ramp is very similar to Uno. Okay, and the bang is your reverse card, and your ramp is your skip. Okay? Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Ramp.
Okay, so the flow is this way. So you're going to ramp over jump.
Okay. Ramp.
Very good.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Bang.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Whoosh. Now let me just say this. Whoosh is the simplest element within all four elements, right? Simple. You know, you only got to think about it a lot. Of all four elements, it's the least thought requiring. We all agree? The whoosh is the least difficult of all four. So, of all these different tips and tricks for getting yourself out of a bind within a scene and things like this, some of them are going to be easier than others. Okay? And if whoosh, for this example, it is the easiest. And we keep getting, I find myself getting to a point where it's like, I'm off guard. I don't know what to do. Whoosh. It's just the simplest thing. And it's like, okay, and if you find yourself being caught off guard too often, it means you're somewhere else. You're somewhere else, and you got to bring yourself back. It's like, I find myself in the moment. I'm working on preloading or whatever the case. I'm just not present or as present as I can be to be speed reaction. So the fastest reaction we can, and something that's subtle and thought-provoking and emotional, maybe the speed is, you know, it needs to be appropriate, a little slow. So anyway, whoosh, bang, pow, ramp. Whoosh.
Bang.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
Bang.
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 Whoosh.
Ramp.
So ramp is John, make eye contact with John, and ramp.
Yeah, ramp.
Good.
Bang.
Nice!
Woo. Well, I have a question though.
Yeah.
Would that have gone back to him? Would it bang?
Where did the bang wood?
Well, he ramped.
he
so
ramped.
Me. I'm
Okay.
bang, so.
Bang.
Let's go back to
No,
I
we're coming
wasn't
back
sure.
this way. It just kind of threw me.
Yeah,
off.
Well, so you you
I
ramped.
ramped.
He ramped.
Yeah. So
He
then
banged.
now
I'm
you
banged.
took it and you've got all 4 options, right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering where it went.
Okay.
Yeah, it went this
Where-
way.
And then
Well,
bang,
so
you,
it's-
where did you bang?
I
He
banged
backed this way.
to John.
Ah.
You banged the ramp, so.
That's
you bang,
interesting. Yeah, that's a really good question because
Because I wouldn't.
and established, they say you don't bang a pal, but I say why not?
Yeah, and I was just like.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it would have got to you because you were this.
So this is good. This is great. Now, you bring up a good point. So you bang.
Yeah.
So then going back to you, yeah. Well, he banged you. He rejected you.
You
as
rejected the
person.
ramp,
Yeah.
so it never really came to me, so it has to go back to where it began.
This is confusing.
So that's
Yeah.
why
What's
I-
the answer? Who should have got it?
Yeah, that's it.
That should've
I
been
can
it.
go either way.
You-
but
you're
it
opposite,
made me
yeah.
stop because I was like, I've never seen
I
it
skipped
before.
myself.
So
That's
I
the
know
biggest.
that.
I mean, the ramp was for to skip myself, not.
No, well, the ramp skips me.
Yeah, you skipped him.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
me.
I thought the ramp was for me because I was the one who put it up.
Well, yeah. Well, you did the ramp.
You did the
So
ramp.
when
so
we
you
skipped
ran
you
over.
on-
Yeah, I know I did the ramp, but I thought the ramp was for me. I thought I was ramping myself, not ramping him.
No, you're always ramping. You're always doing
So whoever's
something.
to the side of me would get the ramp.
You're never doing something to yourself.
No,
Then yeah, that is.
I'm not in polite no.
Yeah. Well, they said, no, I've never seen it before because we were doing it, so I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I don't know where it is coming in.
Yeah.
It's not back to you.
No, don't hey, try not to take blame.
No,
We're just
it's
figuring
just-
this out.
I liked it because it was like, oh.
Okay. So,
But you looked at it.
1 and 2 word associations, A to B to C, right? A to B, and then A to B to C. Do everybody remember this? It's okay if you don't.
I believe I remembered a little bit.
Do your best to describe it.
So basically, it's a word association game. I believe last time I was here, we were talking about an office. You know, things you see in an office like a pencil, a book,
Okay,
chair.
yeah, right. So that's later on. That's when we're dealing with the environment object word. So what we're doing right now is 1 and 2 word associations. You said some word association game. It's exactly what it is. I said one word, and you think. It makes you think of another something, right? And as quickly as you can, without saying, I've got all these choices. I can go there, I can go there, just anything. Even if it doesn't have anything to do with what I just said, it's like, I'm drawing a blank. And here's something interesting. When you're drawing a blank, it happens over a period of time, right? And very early on in this drawing a blank, you realize, oh my God. And as soon as you realize, I don't know what I'm doing, it goes on for a certain nightmarish amount of time. Okay? So if you realize that you're drawing a blank and you got a technique to knock that down, that amount of time is gone. We no longer have that. It's like I'm drawing a blank. You have that go-to. Over time, we'll have those 12 shorthands. Just pick one. Just pick one. It doesn't matter what it is. All right. So 1 word association, and then a 2-word association, where the 3rd word you're going to come up with 2 words based off of what I come up with. It's not 2 words based off of what I'm coming up with. You're going to have 1 reaction, and then your C reaction is to your own reaction to what I come up with. Okay? None of this is planned. None of this is planned. So, all of this, none of this is preloaded. And when you consider that, your C, the C, it's out of nowhere. And I'd like to start working with that C element. I want to start doing like suggestions and stuff where it's like I say a word and then it makes you think of a 1 word, and then that word that makes you think of something else, and then I want to work with that C because that's out of nowhere. Nobody, nothing. It makes no sense. Yeah, we understand how we got there, but the fact that we're there is a very novel place. That the creative process. I don't know about some people, the writer's block, and you got this and that, and it takes some artists years to complete a painting. Where what we're doing right now is less than 0. It's less than 1 at least. So 1 word associations, 2 word associations. Give me a 1 word suggestion, please.
Bells.
One more time.
Bells.
Bells. Christmas. Krampus. So you got to give me a chance to get both of them right. Right? Christmas and Krampus. That's the. Anyway, I don't need to describe. And that's the thing. Sometimes you don't know what it is. That's okay. Sometimes that's fun. He's like, well, I don't know what that is. I'm about to make something up. And that's life, and that's how we operate. Okay? So, Christmas, Krampus, one more time.
Yeah.
Different one.
Books.
Books, librarians. Librarians, your suggestion.
Books, librarians, audiobooks.
Okay, so you're interacting together, so make eye contact.
Books, librarian, audiobooks.
Audiobooks, radio, TV.
Radio, TV, film, music.
So let's try to up our volume a little bit.
Music, instruments, piano.
Piano. The Beatles. John Lennon.
Pianos, the
There you
Beatles,
go.
John Lennon, Ringo Starr, George Harrison.
So
Funky.
I don't know how many. What did,
No, he repeated yours.
Oh,
then
right.
he did one. Then
okay.
Do we need to repeat them, or does it not?
We don't need to repeat them.
I repeat the last one just so I can remember what my first jumping off point is.
Okay, so for the sake of making things faster, let's not repeat. Let's just make sure that we're loud enough that all of us could hear. And let's all pay attention and we'll all know what it is. Okay, go ahead. Oh, you're done.
Names, peoples.
Loud, annoying.
Trains, engines.
Power, Native American.
Reservations, Sue.
Shirley, Mom.
Dad, Paul.
Grandma, elderly.
Old folks home, batsman.
Nurses, wheelchairs.
Rolling, pebble.
Rock, boat.
Swimming, ocean.
Shark, tooth.
Killer whales, Shamu.
Theme park, roller coaster.
Ride, pain.
Back, clothes.
Clothes, halter top, drag queen.
RuPaul, reality.
Fake, news.
Implants, surgery.
Cosmetic, skin.
Okay, so we went around, what, 2-3 times? Something like that? And there were a lot of concepts that were generated, right? If we were tasked with a list of all those different concepts, ideas, subjects, how hard do you think it would be for us to come up with a scene word, premise? It's something to work with, right? What makes those ideas any better than other ideas? That's a really good question. What makes the idea, the concepts, the one-word ideas what makes those ideas any less important, any less valuable, or any greater value than anything else out there that you can flip on your TV and obviously that's really important stuff. Everybody's spending major money to put it on there. So those ideas must be very important, right? So what makes what we're doing any less important than that stuff, or any more valuable? Okay? So we're working with high quality, world-class material. We're working with the best material you can find on the planet. So what we're working with is entirely up to you. What we contribute in an improv scene is entirely based on our imagination and our life's experience. So you may not, what's an area in life, do you know much about small towns in Russia?
Never been to Russia.
Okay. Do you know much about making sheets in Egypt? Do you know much about hiking up Mount Everest?
Not
Do you know much about sewing prom dresses? Some. Okay, good. All right, so check it out. There's a lot of homework that we could be doing, okay? when we get done watching improv, you know, to do better improv, that's great. But learning random facts about life and the earth and history and everything, just world knowledge, you're able to draw from that. And if you've actively been, you know, learning these things and you know, pulling up videos, that's the easiest way to do it. You want to learn about something, pull up a video on it and geek out, go down a rabbit hole. Next time we're doing some improv scenes, you know, figure out a way to shoehorn that in. And it's not going to be very difficult. You're just a person in that scene that happens to be, you know, with a strong influence of that subject, whatever that happens to be. And that level of detail and dynasticism within that the character, you know, we might not understand 75% of what your character talks about, but you have a command of what you talk about. So it's like, I don't know what he's talking about, but he knows it. But he definitely knows what he's talking about. You know, and you see that when you watch the news and you hear an interview or this or that, and it's just, I give you all validity, I give you credit, I vouch for you. You know, just say what you're going to say. You know, it's like having a PhD at the end of your name. Okay, we're going to speed through this. We're going to do I am a tree, premise lawyer. We're going to do the environments and object work. And then we're going to do name carousel, and we're going to do all that lightning round style. We have 15 minutes. And we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to do scene work. Okay? So I'm a tree. I'm going to stand out so that we can do this a little quicker. Do we remember I'm a tree? No, it's cool. So Tony, you've been to one, right? So it's been a little while. No problem. So I come out. I say I am a tree. All right? And this is where A, B, C. Right? The tree is the A. It's the first idea. Okay? John, please come out and be a squirrel on the tree.
I'm a squirrel on the tree.
Okay, so the third person is going to come and be in association to the squirrel, like B is to C, not C is to A. Okay? So you don't come out and dealing with a tree. It might have to do with a tree, but it needs to be dealing with the squirrel. Sorry? That's why we did the A to the B to the C. Okay? Anyone? The C is associated with the squirrel. Somebody be associated.
On the nut with the squirrel.
Perfect. Okay, so the first person selects which one to stay. I'm going to keep the nut, so you stay. And now you reiterate what you are.
I'm the nut.
Good.
I'm the cracker.
And somebody in association to a nutcracker. One of you, doesn't matter.
I'm a human holding the nutcracker.
Very good.
Who will you keep?
So who started?
I did.
Okay, so the person who starts selects between the two who stays. I keep the blank, whatever one.
I'll keep the person with the nut.
Good. Very good.
So he's on his own now, or he's still with me.
No, he's in the center, and we're backed out to the circle. Okay. It can be very, very rapid pace. So what were you? You were the
I was
person?
a human holding the nutcracker.
Good.
I am the table.
Very good. Somebody's associated with the table?
I'm the silverware on the table.
Silverware stays.
Okay.
I am silverware.
I'm the dishwasher.
Very good.
I'm the rinser.
Let's keep the rinse.
I'm just rinsing some plates.
Okay, I can't hear very well.
I'm just rinsing some plates around here.
No, you were the thing. We're not getting creative right now. You're the thing. Right now, so these are exercises. These are for very specific parts of our brain. You know, the creativity and stuff like that, that's for other exercises, but we want to be able to practice the, certain elements, and then the creativity comes later. So anytime we're doing a new game, just figure out what is the nuts and bolts, and to the best of your ability, why is that important? and then work on the stuff that's the most important. Okay? So right now, this is just advanced ABC, right? That's all we're doing, right? So to the best of your ability, to play ABC to the best of your ability. That's your creative contribution. Something? Yeah. Okay. Say what you are.
I'm a rinser.
You're a rinser. Yeah, yep.
I'm the plates.
On the dirty food stuck to the side of the plate.
Dirty food stage.
On some dirty food.
On the plate.
On the floor, the dirty food.
So he was, okay, yeah, the whole thing is over. So you're the floor. Got it right?
Yeah.
I'm the broom.
Great.
Sweeping the dirty food.
Perfect.
Let's get the broom.
I'm a broom.
I'm the witch.
Well, listen, you haven't been out there, get out there.
I'm the house.
Very good.
Which stage?
I'm the witch.
I'm the cauldron.
I'm the stew in the cup.
Get this.
Okay, and freeze. That was good. That was really good, right? You see how A to B to C, what we're doing, now it's not just a single word, now it's a group of ideas. I kind of stopped it right there because that's an interesting premise. Typically, right, witches are making witches brew, but today she's making stew. It's like, I mean, it's a tool, it's a cauldron, what do you want? I'm not always doing magic, I gotta eat. So isn't that funny?
Yeah, I thought it would say it.
You know, I thought that was great. And here's the thing, I don't think that it was on purpose, right? You didn't say stupid because, hey, this would be a novel idea, right?
I thought about it for a second. A witch, cauldron. Yeah, typically a cauldron either involves a stew or some sort of magic spell, but stew was first to come to my mind because of Looney Tunes.
Okay, and that's amazing. You know, be it on purpose, be it on accident. It's, you know, and here's the thing, all right? We can all do what I'm about to say. We'll never have bad improv. Being able to listen, being able to have listened, and it's like, wait, which is called an stew? This doesn't happen. This does not happen. And notice it, and not, you know, if the best you got is just to go, but that's magic. But you know, whatever. To whatever you can do just to convey that idea, where it's like, because maybe Kevin didn't realize, hey, I made it funny. It's like, you just made it funny. It's like, and now that funny element, according to the UCB improvisational manual, that is known as game of scene. Okay. And you've all got the UCB improv manual PDF. Comedy, look, we're not trying real hard to be funny. The more practice we get doing it, the better we're going to get at it. But that improvisational manual by UCB is going to be the best, quickest way for you to, you know, amongst all the choices you have in the middle of a scene, the one that they say, hey, that's the right choice. That's the funniest thing, and you train yourself to be able to pick that. But you got to read. I don't think anybody's been doing a lot of reading. That's okay. If you don't have time, you don't have time. All right. And we're getting really close. So it's 4:25. So we did iometry. Premise where we're going to go around twice. We make ludicrous statements of fact. They're not facts. We make just a very definitive statement of truth, and the person we're working with explains why that is true. This is ridiculous. And you give your explanation of my statement, and then you come up with an original ludicrous statement yourself for Tony, and we go around. The sky is spaghetti.
The sky is spaghetti because the angels need to eat something.
Very good.
ground is made out of cotton candy.
It was found in Europe that cotton candy.
So,
came from the ground.
make the statement that she made,
Oh,
and
to
then
her.
explain. No, it's not necessarily to her, but you make the statement, and then you explain.
Oh, repeat her say.
Yeah.
So the ground is cotton candy.
Yes. And now you convinced the rest of us.
It was found in Europe that cotton candy is what the ground consisted of. Very good. Baseball is played with football.
Baseball is played with a football because in the year 2035, all baseballs were banned because they were found to cause cancer. Cantaloupe is the world for Lilliputians.
What's a Lilliputian?
How you know?
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, where you're at right now, you don't know what a Lilliputian is, right? Okay. A moment ago, I said when you don't know about a thing, what do you do? Anybody remember where we were whenever I made that statement?
I don't know the words, but it's like just go with it. It's funny that you don't know sometimes.
Exactly. Did you hear him? Say it one more time, please.
You just go with it because it might be funny that you don't know what that word is.
Well, what does it mean to go with it?
Just figure out something that's repeat back and yes and.
Yeah, just give an explanation. It doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be factual. You don't have to, nobody's going to fact check us at the end of this, right? Okay, so make the same statement.
Cantaloupes are actually the world to Lilliputians.
Cantaloupes are also targets of Michael Jordan for him to pump.
Okay, stop. Make a statement and then explain why that's the truth.
Yeah, that's true because
No. What's the first thing I asked you to do? Repeat his statement.
Yeah. Cantaloupes are the perfect place for Lilliputians because I saw it happen.
Okay, so listening, big time, one more time.
Cantaloupes are the world to Lilliputians.
Yeah, cantaloupes are the world to Lilliputians because I saw it for myself the other day.
You what?
I saw it for myself the other day.
Good enough. Okay, we're gonna do it again.
He's got to say
Yeah, I gotta see.
Yeah, give me one.
All right. Last Friday, I was at a bar and LeBron James and I had a beer together.
Okay, so that's a historical event. We're talking about factual, physiological, and this is important. I don't know exactly how to describe how to approach this. And there's got to be an optimal way. So not a historical event, but more of a matter of fact. That's just the way it is.
Members of the cheerleading community love to complain about how they're portrayed in the media.
I don't know how true that is. It seems like a true statement. But cheerleaders complain about how the media portray them because they are objects of sexualization. The Rebel Flag is an underground movement for PETA.
The Rebel Flag is an underground movement for PETA because they are themselves rebels, so it was a perfect fit.
Good. Very nice.
The walls are made out of ice cubes.
Yes, the walls are made out of ice cubes. They will melt at any other temperatures that we have.
Very good.
Red light is considered the best dessert that anyone can have.
Red light is considered the best dessert that anyone could ever had, because it has not only marshmallows, but creamy pieces of nougat made out of fish.
Wow. It's absurd.
I want to see a scene about that. The first bite. Ooh, what?
Tulips actually have 4 lips.
Yeah, tulips actually have 4 lips in it because when you open up the petals, that's where the lips are found. Let's see here. Watergate was caused by the Baltimore Zoo.
The Baltimore Zoo created Watergate. Watergate was created by the zoo. Baltimore. Baltimore is known for debauchery and heinous acts of political rebellion. So, that's what that's about. Good enough. So, that is, and I'm dragging this out a lot longer than I thought. But we're gonna, so when we come back after our break, we're gonna do shotgun scenes, pan left, pan right, and then long form stuff. But all that is scene work stuff. Character work, and again, I'm gonna try to speed through this real quick. Location, right? I'm someone, I'm somewhere, I'm doing something. Okay? Improv scenes take place in any number of locations. We're gonna pick one.
Basketball.
Elementary school.
Racetrack. Racetrack.
A gym.
Gym. Basketball court.
Elementary school.
Elementary school.
Racetrack.
Racetrack.
Gym.
Gym. One more time?
Basketball court.
Basketball court. Okay, so now we can play basketball in an improv scene. The only thing we're going to have working is our uniforms and the basketball. In order to do good object work with the objects within the scene, so what we're doing is we're going to pick different random objects we're going to find in that spot. And I guess in a basketball court, you can look at the way that the lineage is,
Yeah.
that those are different parts of it. But for location, for our purposes, we need a place that you can interact with components that would naturally be found within that environment. Does that make sense? Okay, so try again, different location.
Bedroom.
Bedroom. Okay, and you already had one.
Elementary.
Racetrack.
Racetrack,
Gym.
and gym. Okay. Object within yours, your object or your location, bedroom, object.
Video game console.
Whiteboard marker.
Race car.
Or word. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, hold on. What? Okay, my love. You failed to be in the bed one time too many. I'm giving you a tutorial.
So we're in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And yours was, I'm sorry.
Video game console.
So I want to see that sketch. I want to see the sketch where it's like you flip, you know those boards that you flip it. It was like a world map, and now you're explaining stuff with a chalkboard.
Let me describe last night's activities.
Oh,
You were here. I was here.
Let's write that script or that sketch. Anyway, where are we?
I would say the bed.
Okay, bed. So objects within our space, right?
Inside the bedroom.
No. Within location, overall location.
Just
Dresser.
Dresser,
TV.
TV. Yours is?
Video game console.
Okay, so your time, interact with a video game console. Remember, if whatever your object happens to be is something you interact with sitting down usually, grab a chair. Okay? Interact with a video console, please. Watch his eyes. Watch what he's looking at. Okay? It doesn't exist, but it does in his imagination. This is important. Very subtle eye contact, and what you're looking at, as human beings, we notice this. We may not know, may not realize how important that is, but it is, and it adds to the realism. Okay? Keep going. chairs within the bedroom is?
The bed.
Bed. Interact with the bed. Now, this is great. Grab both chairs. Grab both chairs, put them in the middle. I mean, that is a bed. That is your only bed. Very good, very good. Okay, all right. So I would say, without killing yourself, actually get up on the chairs and maybe not a full jump, but something physical that gives us the impression of what you're doing was jumping on the bed. So you know, and this is really good. Safety tips for improv with chairs. This is a class that should be taught if you're going to get creative with chairs. Well, here we are. Now we're jumping on the bed. Okay? That was great. I totally got it. But you didn't say to the audience, hey, this is a bed. Now you're just the guy jumping up and down in front of a couple of chairs. How do we know that that was a bed? If you're the only person in there. Whatever the case. A couple of answers. So,
Yes.
okay, boom, boom, boom. How do I you know, convey to the audience what this is? Okay, so once I've made it, if I don't want to get up on there, sure, boom. But if you trust yourself, all right, and you're not going to hurt yourself and people are getting sued, get up on the chairs. You're going to see a lot of the improv that I share with you guys, usage of chairs. Look, man, you got to be pretty bad at being a human being if you can't stand on a chair without hurting yourself. You got to, hey, look, some people are better at being people than others. But I would say, if you got a problem with that, go put a bunch of cushions somewhere, put a chair in the middle of it, and stand on it as long as you can until you fall off. And do it again, and you know, I bet you'll be on there longer the next time. All right. So anyway, that's not as important. The bed. Okay, so
It's a dresser.
dresser. Interact with a dresser. Okay. So this is a clothes dresser? What
Yeah.
kind of dresser?
Just a dresser is all I said, but
A dresser.
I imagine jumping in the top drawer of the dresser.
Okay, you blew on something. What was
It
that?
was dusty.
It was
Probably
dusty.
a bell or an ornament of some sort.
Okay. So in the top drawer of this dresser, it's got ornaments. What else?
Pens, pencils, probably.
What is this
pennies.
room? What is this room that we're in that has a dresser with these odds and ends?
It's the bed.
You're in your, okay. Top drawer, we have, what was this?
The pencils, pennies,
Okay.
ornaments, dusty stuff.
Interesting.
Junk in that drawer.
Okay.
There's no clothes in that drawer. I don't think.
It does sound like a junk drawer.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yours in the bedroom?
TV.
Huh?
TV.
So come on, let's circle up, Kevin. So we all coming? We're all giving 100%. It's like on the basketball court.
Well, that was back in the
Yeah, that's right.
What?
Yeah, the camera was right behind me, he was trying to film.
Oh. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, we were just trying to watch.
As present of mind as I would like to be all the time, I'm not. Very rarely. I'm on. So your object?
TV.
TV. Okay, go ahead. And again, remember, if you interact with a TV standing up the whole time, you're different than the rest of us. So you might want to grab a chair, unless you're doing something else. This is perfect. Her TV she's looking at is between her and the audience, so her face is facing the audience. She could have made the choice that the TV's against the wall.
so your location was?
The elementary school.
Right. And we got any number of objects that could be there. Right? Your location,
Racetrack.
racetrack, any number of location, or any number of object you can interact with there. You can be in the pit crew, you know, and your location was the gym. And, you know, anything, you got water fountains, weights, and all this. So, for sake of moving on, we're not going to work on the rest of those. Just, you know, interacting, taking your time, being able to visualize from within the environment, right? And eye contact with shit that ain't there. Huh. Who's ever told you that's important? Huh. Nobody, dude.
You actually did last week.
Who?
You did last week.
Did I? Oh, okay. All right, and so then we're going to do name carousel as quickly as possible.
Oh, yeah.
A, B, C, through Z, people's names. When we're in a group, let's be equally distant from each other to where if you put a string, it would actually look like a circle. Okay, so Albert.
Bob.
Catherine.
Frank.
Ethel.
What did you say?
Ethel.
You said Frank? F, G?
E.
Frank?
Yeah.
And then F, what comes after F? Okay, who's on E? Who's on?
There wasn't no E.
Oh, F, G,
But I
G. I'm sorry.
Oh,
They
are we
switched
doing?
that.
Are we doing by alphabet?
Yeah, we're going alphabetical
C.
order.
He didn't do
But
D.
You didn't do
He didn't
D.
do D. but-
Ah, okay.
You just said names, so I said his name.
All right, my bad. I didn't explain it. Okay, so Kevin, you've only been here one other time, like Tom. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I apologize and explain. Going through the alphabet. A, Albert. You said what?
Bobby.
Bobby. All the way.
That's
C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So what was yours?
Catherine.
Catherine.
Derek.
Egbert.
Ferrando. Feel free to get creative in how you say it. Make anything up.
Felicia.
A little louder.
Felicia.
You're on G.
Yeah, you're on G. He already said F.
Oh, Gatsby.
Harness.
Indiana.
Crinkle. Indiana.
Yeah. You're a J.
I-J.
Yeah.
So Indiana was
You were what?
I was Harriet. Well, H.
H-I.
Okay.
I said Indiana.
Oh my goodness, I can hear.
Okay, he makes a great point. I'm not the only one that can hear. So let's up the volume, please.
Jerome.
Ketamine.
Lenore.
Michael.
Nigel.
Olive. Penelope.
Michelle.
Rochelle.
Stanley.
Travis. Ooh la.
Violet.
William.
Xavier.
Yancy.
Siolaki.
All right, buddy.
Repeat that. Repeat it. Okay, and yeah, when you give somebody their name, try to remember what it is. That's the thing. It's important to give your sea partner a name, but it's also important to remember what it is. If you don't remember and you decide to name them again, that's when things get interesting, because now you got a two-name person. Okay, last thing. Let's have a break. Don't want to break. Keep in mind, edits. Okay, we're going to do the pan left, pan right. We're going to do shotgun scenes.
that works on the triple S. I am someone, I am somewhere, I am doing something. Okay, it's only 3 lines, 2 people. We'll trade, and we're only going to do that so much. Then we're going to do pan left, pan right, and that pan left, pan right is uttered by someone in the audience, as I've been doing. And here's the question: it's timing of edits. That's where pan left, pan right is important of what we're doing. The timing of edits is very, very important. You know, in entertainment, they say timing, you know, or sports, or wherever. Timing is super important. Okay, you hit a high point, you got a good reaction from the audience, and you let your 2 people hang, or however many people, and now they're on to something that's not as compelling. Well, it's gotta end at some point. Let's pick those high points. That's what's compelling. Okay? You're getting ready to divulge something big. Okay, well, this is an element of storytelling. Cut away from that. Now, we don't know what that is, but we want to know. You teased us. Don't be afraid to tease. This is the, you know what I mean? So editing, very often, and I really need to get my pen, is you're teasing the audience. But here's the thing, you don't tease without a please. At some point, you need to come back to that and tie a ribbon on that idea. Okay? Now, will you? Not necessarily. But as a competent, high-quality improviser, you will every time. Okay? And that's where not just interacting in the scene, but you know, being able to have several other tracks, mental tracks going simultaneously, where it's like, I want to bring that element back. At some point, you're watching towards the end of the show. This is the best opportunity to inject this one idea. And have more than one. Have more than one idea. Now, so, the time that you came, you didn't get into a lot of scene work, right? It was only like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, but everything that we're doing and what we've done today, and up to this point, is, have you seen what he called Karate Kid?
Yeah.
The original?
Yeah, I mean.
You remember how he's working, he thinks, man, you're wasting my time, I'm busting my ass for you.
Yeah.
And then at the very end he explains, no, you've been training. And he's like a world-class karate guy, right?
Yeah.
So everything, some of it might seem a little like, hey, you just keep going over the same bullshit. Just try your best to hang in there. We'll take a break.
So what kind of dance you ballet?
I think ballroom, break dance, ballet.
Dave, are you up for a smoke?
Yeah,
I'm